You did say you've met them through their YouTube channel, and that's how you found out about them. And why don't you talk a little bit about that process, like what kind of promises they made you on that front, and we can take it from there.
The process is you can either purchase your trailer, like some people did it over the phone. I went to them in person. And, I think the process is different when you're just over on the phone ordering a food truck or trailer, right? Because you see, you see stuff online. But me, because I knew that I was going to relocate back to Orlando, I wanted to be a little more, personable, one-on-one. So the promises that they made were me getting my food truck or trailer the end of May. And now when I got there, I think it was, let's just say it was December 14th of 2022. I actually was financed the same day that I went, and I put $1,000 down. And yes, I had, the finance company gave me like a payment arrangement, how many months I had to pay and how much I would pay per month. It was going to be step by step, not really holding your hand, but, every month they would send you like an email of, how to get started, how many employees should you hire, what type of food would you sell. It's just, an email a month that they would send you, kind of like just to help you. But then, like I said, I was supposed to get my food truck trailer the end of May. In March, I received the email, and I'm paraphrasing right now because I don't have the email in front of me, but pretty much it was due to COVID that they couldn't get the parts, and it was going to be a delay of me getting my food trailer. So I'm like, okay, because I get it. I don't know what's going on. That was the first red flag. But I didn't think of it as a red flag because they sent me an email. I was like, okay. So let's take this back. December 2022, I was financed for like 33,000 or something like that. Well, financed for 25, but I think the whole trailer ended up being like 33,000. I had to put 5,000 down, and then there was taxes and all this other stuff. I made $1,000 deposit that day. That next month is when my payment started with the finance company. So I would, that's being taken out of my checking account. Then I would go in and make $1,000 deposit payment. And then I did that up to May. I went in and I'm like, okay, what's going on? When am I going to get my trailer? Because I think in April is when the design team was communicating with me saying, how did you want the logo on your trailer? And we were going back and forth via email, on phone calls, which I think the logo should have been included because it was like a small logo. It was like that was like $1,700 or something like that. Like, it's expensive. It's like every time you turn around, they wanted you to pay for something. It was something that they wanted you to pay for. But to make a long story short, When I went up there in August, and I'm like, okay, we're in August, what's going on? They end up having me to meet with a like an operations manager, or it was some type of manager. They just hired an office manager. It was an office manager. He knew nothing what I was talking about. So I had to talk to him about it. But I had to go at that time. I had to leave because it was something else I was doing. I left and he said, okay, well, we'll get in contact with you. When I got home, I had an email saying that I would get my food trailer the end of October or November. I think it was October. Yeah, it was the end of October. They didn't tell me a date. They just said, we'll get that trailer. You'll have it by the end of October. November 1st came. And so I'll never forget, I was at my W-2 at the time, and I was on my 30-minute break. And so I called the finance company and I told them, I said, look, I don't have my trailer. They told One Fat For All promised me that I was going to have it in May, but they sent me an email like in March. And then they told me that I was going to have it in October, and it's November 1st. So the finance company said, if they give you your money back, then we'll give you your payments. I said, okay. I called. Now, just mind you, I'm on my 30-minute break. So I called One Fat For All, and I end up getting in touch with Mario, who was my salesperson. When I told him that I wanted my money back, he said, we don't do refunds. I'm like, what do you mean you don't do refunds? I didn't get a trailer. You lied about it. I want my money back. I don't even want it. And so that's when I say, you know what? Something has to change. So I've never been in this situation before. And so I was trying to figure out how I was going to get a lawyer. So I went to 3 top lawyers here in Orlando, and every single person told me that they do not take consumer protection cases, that I could go and talk to someone else or try these other companies. But when I went to talk to these other companies, they said the same thing. I couldn't even get a pro bono. I couldn't even get anyone to do it for free. It's something about One Fat For All. And I don't want to get into that right now because we're going to get into that later. But it's something about this company. They were like protected. So
Yeah, that is that it's insane how these salespeople who seem so nice to your face, and that going in that they're just trying to make a sale, but there's a part of you that feels that kindness and like trusts them with the sale because you were there to be sold to begin with. But when they try to make that sale and the product they sold you is either defective or it's just not a product, it's frustrating, especially if it's a tool or a valuable piece of equipment that you need in order to move forward. And in your case, a food truck is the business itself. It's the literal structure of everything.
I do not like deceiving practices. There's being kind and trying to help you guide you through what you need. But there's slick silver tongue. I hate to put it this way because I've been in the industry. The stereotype of a used car salesman, that kind of salesman, who's just feeding you the information you want. But the company, when you go check your progress, they're saying, oh, it's 2 months delayed, it's 4 months delayed, 6 months is ridiculous. And then they didn't get by that promise date either. And they're not doing anything for you. And the fact that you couldn't seek legal recourse was ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure. I am.
Excuse me. I just want to say this. I'm sorry. I just want to say this while it's on my mind. So what I could never understand is, how can you have someone pay for a product and you never got to see it? So what they did was they took your money and said, okay, well, we're going to create this trailer for you, custom. But then they didn't do anything. So they took money from another person. Said the same thing to them. Got another person, took their money. So they just kept taking money and probably would do like one truck or one trailer just to have on site to make it seem like they're doing something. But they could never show your trailer or your truck. I never saw my trailer or truck, ever. Now, I thought because the finance company sent them the $25,000. You mean to tell me each time this finance company sent you $25,000, that's enough? And they claim that they built it from the ground up. You mean to tell me the $25,000 that the finance company sent for me to get my truck built, you never built it. You didn't work on it. So what did you do with that money?
Kept it.
That was supposed to have been for me, not for you to buy. And that's hearsay. I'm only going by hearsay. The money that they received, they took and bought nuts and bolts and light bulbs and this and that. That was supposed to have been for me and my trailer. I just wanted to bring that up.
To me, that's a definition of a Ponzi scheme. You're taking money from one person and shuffling it over to another. I don't know if that's the exact when you're doing sales and buying equipment, but you're still doing it under false impressions. Promising everyone a dream, and then you're buying supplies for yourself and not your clients.
That's another thing too. Like,
it's okay to take the proceeds, the profits from one, and use that to help start another. That's perfectly fine. That's how business works. But if you're taking the money they put down, let's say your $5,000 and your grand deposit, you're taking that money and putting it there, and then they get the full payment, and they're still not even progressing on yours or processing it. That's highly fraudulent.